Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this basket. It is very, very easy. If you know how to single crochet and double crochet, you'll be able to make this basket. So I made it with a very simple stitch because the yarn is so busy. But it would work. It would look really well in a solid yarn too. So it's approximately 10 inches across and about 8 inches tall, and you can make the base as big as you want, and you can make the height as long or as short as you'd like. You can see that it's standing up quite well by itself. I use nothing and no spray starch or anything for it, and there's nothing in it holding it up. If you want to make it stiffer though, you could always spray starch it or something like that, but I think it's holding up quite well with the yarn that I used, and it probably will with any of the same weight of yarn. I think it'll hold up pretty well because of the stitch that I used. But what do you guys think? You guys want to do it? I think it's cool. I like it. I like the color and everything. Let's go ahead and get started on it. Alright, as always, I'm going to ask you to please not forget to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Turn on them notifications so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and check out all my hundreds and hundreds of tutorials that I already have. I have anything that you could ever want to make, and multiples of them. If you could give this video a like, and maybe comment below and let me know what you think about it. If you think if you're going to make it, let me know. Let me know what kind of yarn you're going to use. And I'll show you what I used. So I used, this is a yarn from Michaels. It's their Loops and Thread brand, the Eco Tie-Dye. Now there are 82 yards per ball, and this is my second ball. So I didn't go through quite 2 for the size that I made. Now they classify this as a number 7. It is not a number 7. This is a super bulky number 6. So you don't have to use this yarn. Any super bulky 6 yarn will work. I think blanket yarn would work nice. You know, anything that is a super bulky 6 would work really well, and I think it will stand up well on its own. But like I mentioned, you could always use some spray starch or whatever if you feel like you want to add some extra stiffness to it. But yeah, that's what I used. So probably about, I don't know, 130 yards maybe of a 6 weight, something like that. Like I said, blanket yarn, a Lion brand. Hometown would be another nice one I think that you could use if you didn't have this yarn. Just trying to think of a few substitutes that would be easy to get, you know, something like that. And then I'm going to be using a size N, which is a 9mm. Sometimes N's are 10mm. Either one of those will work. All right, so first off, we're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, like that. So we're going to start by working the base first. So we're going to work a chain of 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. I always put my middle finger, well, my ring finger I guess, inside like that, and then I slip stitch. That way I know I got the opening on my circle there. So now I'm going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, okay? It doesn't count as anything. Now we're going to work 12 double crochets through the center of this ring. So we're going to yarn over and then go through that hole there and draw up our loop, and then we're just going to do our double crochet like normal. And we want to do that 12 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can keep sliding them over as you go. Alright, so once you get your 12 double crochets, you can usually pull your tail, close up that center circle just a little bit, and then we can sew it together at the end. So we're going to go ahead and end row 1 by slip stitching into our first double crochet right here. Not the chain 1 we did, but the first double. And you'll have 12 doubles there at the end of round 1. So let's go ahead and start round 2. We're going to chain 1, which doesn't count as anything, and we're going to go right back here into the same spot that we just slip stitched into, so right here, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into that same spot. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to work around our ring, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around until we get back to our starting point. So 2 in the next stitch. There's 1, 2, and 2 in the next. There's 1, 2. So 2 in every single stitch until we make it back to the beginning. Alright, I made it to the end of row 2. We're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and now you should have 24 stitches. And we're going to go ahead and start row 3, and we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to work 1 double crochet right back into that same spot there that we just slip stitched into. And then the next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets into the next. So there's 1, and there's 2. So that's going to be the repeat now for row 3. We're going to put 1 double crochet into the next, and then we're going to put 2 double crochets into the next stitch. One double into the next, and then 2 doubles into the next, and we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to our starting point. 1 double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way around back to here. Alright, I've come to the end of round 3. Now your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, and we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and you should have a total of 36 stitches now at the end of round 3. So let's go ahead and begin round 4 by chaining 1. Now we are going to go right back into that same spot that we just slip stitched into and double crochet. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next. And now the next stitch we will put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And that will be the repeat for round 4. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So be 1 double, and then 2 double crochets in the stitch after. So 1 double into the next, 1 double into the next, and then 2 doubles into the next. Repeat it again. 1 double into the next, 1 double into the next, and 2 doubles into the next. And I'm going to continue this repeat of 1 double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way around until I make it back here to my starting point. Alright, I have made it to the end of row 4, and you should have ended with 2 double crochets there in that last stitch, and now you should have a total of 48 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and we're going to go increase again. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back into that very first stitch there and double crochet, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, So counting that first double crochet, we got 1, 2, 3 double crochets in a row, and then the next one will get 2 doubles into the same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. And that's the pattern that we're going to repeat for row 5. 1 double into the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 doubles into the next. So I'm going to continue repeating this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. 1 double crochet in 3, and then 2 doubles into the next until we make it back here. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last stitch should have 2 double crochets into it, and you want to end by slip stitching into your first double crochet, and that will end it. You should have 60 stitches. Now this is going to be as big as I want my base to be. If you want yours to be bigger than this, by all means you can keep increasing in the same manner that we have been until you get your base as large as you want. But now we're going to work on the sides. So we're going to build up the sides of the basket. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by jumping. We're going to be, you see how there is each stitch has 2 loops. The one closest to you is the front loop. The one furthest away is the back loop. So we are going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop of every stitch. So here's where I just slip stitched right here. I'm just going to jump right over here to the next stitch, and I'm going to do a single crochet in that back loop. And I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the back loop of every stitch until I make it all the way around. So we're not going to be increasing anymore. 60 stitches will be our magic number. That's the number that we're going to have now from now on. Well, that is if you're following along with me. But I'm going to continue working 1 single crochet in the back loop only until I make it back around to my starting point. And if you look, the back loop, working in the back loop, it kind of creates a divider between the base and the sides of your basket by that little ridge right there. So I'm going to continue around, back loop only, 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I will meet back up with you whenever I make it back around to my starting point. Alright, I have made it back around and I have my 60 stitches. So this stitch right here, which was the chain 1, or not the chain 1, where we slip stitched and we just kind of went over, that's going to count as a stitch. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that. So now we have 60 stitches. So you just need to have 60 stitches now. Alright, so now we're going to start the repeat of the basket. Round and around and around is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and chain 1 real quick. Okay, now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to go back into the same stitch here, and we're going to single crochet. And then we're going to double crochet into the next. Now we're going through both loops. We're not doing the back loop only thing anymore. And then we're going to single into the next. And then we're going to double into the next. Single. And then double into the next. So that's just the repeat now. Single crochet into the next stitch. and double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next stitch and double crochet into the next. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. That all the way around until we make it back here to where we started. Alright, I have made it back around, and what we're going to do is we're going to call what we just did row 2 of the front part of the height of the basket. Row 1 would have been the single crochet in the back loop, and now this would be row 2. So your last stitch should have been a double crochet, and now you're going to need some type of stitch marker. I'm just going to use a piece of yarn because we're just going to repeat what we just did around and around and around and around. So it's just single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. So our last stitch was a double crochet, and here's where we started with the single crochet. Well, you put a single crochet on top of that single crochet, and the next stitch is a double crochet from the previous row. Double crochet goes on top of the double crochet. So it's very, very easy. Single crochet into the next. You'll always have 60 stitches. Double crochet into the next. At the end of every round you'll always have 60. Single crochet into the next, and then double crochet into the next. So we're just going to keep working rounds of this single crochet, double crochet repeat. But the single crochet always goes on top of the single crochet from the previous row, and the double crochet always goes on top of the double crochet from the previous row. So it just kind of keeping them lined up like that. And every once in a while I stop and I kind of pop my double crochets out like that. Look at that. It really gives a cool texture, and it's a pretty simple stitch for such a busy yarn. You need something simple when you're using a busy yarn like this. So double on top of the double from the previous row, and single on top of the single from the previous row. Double and single. Now I will keep doing this double single all the way until I get back to my stitch marker. I'll end in a double crochet. I'll pull my stitch marker up and begin with a single crochet on top of the single crochet, then double, then single, then double. Remember, wherever there's a single, you put a single crochet on it. Wherever there's a double, you put a double crochet on it. And we just keep doing rounds in this, rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds. 60 stitches at the end of every time you get back to your stitch marker. And you want to do it till you get it to the height that you want it to be. Alright, so I made it back to my stitch marker, and starting with that very first row of single crochet that we did in the back loop, I have done a total of 10 rows. Now of course you could do more if you want, and as you can see it's standing really well on its own, but I'm going to do one more row. So I'm at my stitch marker. I'm going to go around with just one row of just straight single crochet, one single crochet in every stitch all the way around until I get back to my starting point, just to finish it off. Remember though, you can make it taller if you want, or even shorter if you didn't want to do that many rows. So I'm going to continue with my one row of single crochet until I make it back here to my stitch marker. Alright, when I make it back around to the beginning, here is the last double crochet of the row. I'm going, instead of putting a single crochet in it, I'm going to slip stitch into it. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which would be after the stitch marker. I forgot to move my marker up, but the single crochet after. And then I'm going to clip this off and hide this yarn. I'm just going to use my hook to hide it, kind of weave it through like this, since it's a thicker yarn. Needle would gonna be kind of hard to hide it with. Weave it through like this, and then you can go on the inside if you want. Weave it through some of these stitches on the inside neatly though. kind of like that. Just till you, oh, sorry about that. Just till you feel like it's not going to come undone. And then you can clip it off. And you can do the same with the tail at the bottom. You can kind of just weave it through with your hook. If you got a thick needle though, you can use that too. But and just keep going until you feel like it's tight enough, and then you can clip off your tails. Alright, there it is. I think it turned out quite nicely. I like it. It's very pretty with that variegated yarn like that. That yarn really wasn't the greatest, the most fun to work with, but always remember you can use any 6-weight yarn that you like. But yeah, I hope you enjoy my tutorial. If you make this or anything else, you can always show me a picture on Instagram or Facebook. It's a cute little basket. My daughter already claimed it to put her hair bow ties and whatnot in it. Hair ties and stuff. So thanks for watching. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button if you enjoyed, and check out all my hundreds and hundreds of other crochet tutorials and yarn content. Until next time, have a good day. Bye guys.